On today's episode of 4 Verts, I'm going to tell you exactly why the Miami Dolphins would be making a big mistake to pay Tua Tagovailoa top quarterback money right now. But before we get to that, help us reach 500 subscribers here on 4 Verts, a brand new NFL and college football podcast style YouTube channel hosted by me, Harrison Graham. The initial response from you guys has been awesome. We're over 300 subscribers. Did an episode on Dak Prescott potentially getting over $60 million if you want to check that out. Some drama with the 49ers with not Brock Purdy, but his teammates Trent Williams and Brandon Ayuk. If you want to go check those out, hit the subscribe button, go to the content tab, go check out those recent episodes. All right, here's the latest from Dolphins camp before I tell you why the Dolphins should not pay their franchise quarterback, because I'm not sure he is a franchise quarterback. The chatter early on in camp was that he will participate some at training camp, which he did on day one, but not be a full participant due to contract negotiations. So it's like, you don't want the label of him holding out or holding in, which is the more common way to do things nowadays. That's kind of what I felt when I heard that. But then he didn't practice at all on day two. So this might just be straight up a hold in. And other reports, as they negotiate, there's been chatter of him getting over $50 million per year on a new contract. And it's just one of those things where, number one, if that's actually on the table, let's say they're offering him $50 to $52 million per year, what is Tua waiting for? Like, I'm going to tell you why I wouldn't do this, but if that's already out there, I think that's bad advice from his agent. Now, this often comes down to the guarantees, right? Like, maybe Tua is willing to not take $55 million per year or top that. Like, maybe he doesn't want to quite reset the market, but I'm sure he would like that label, even if it was for a brief period of time. But if there's over $100 million in guaranteed, and I bet there is, honestly, I'm guessing maybe a 4 or 5 year deal is on the table with, 2.5 years of those guaranteed. That probably is over $100 million bucks. He should take it. Now, maybe that's not there. Maybe only like a year and a half is guaranteed, and they're only offering like $75 million guaranteed, and that's holding it up. That's certainly a possibility. But if there's already talks of over $50 million per year being discussed between the two parties, if I'm Tua, I'm running to sign that deal, because for reasons I'll give in a second, I think it's risky as it is from the Dolphins' standpoint to do this. So if Tua can cash in before this season starts, I would do it, because I'm not convinced results in the playoffs are going to be any different this year. So now I'm going to shift to why I would not pay Tua Tagovailoa top quarterback money if I'm running the Dolphins. If I'm Chris Grier, I would play this year out. And the number one reason for that is this. He has an injury history. He played all 17 games last year. Kudos. He stayed healthy. He did some jiu-jitsu training to try and, help him out when he does get sacked, how he falls so he doesn't fall and bang his head and get those concussions. But the fact of the matter is, he's had 3 concussions in the NFL. He had tightrope ankle surgery in college. He's dealt with other minor things as well. And for a 6-foot quarterback who's already not a great athlete, these things kind of start to pile up. And look, has he had such an injury history that I wouldn't want him as my quarterback at all? No, but I don't want to give him $50+ million per year and over $200 million. And this whole thing is just like, I hate the narrative of, well, that's the market. Is it? Does it have to be? Like, Baker Mayfield had a similar year to Tua last year, albeit not as good in the regular season, but pretty good, and won a playoff game with Tampa Bay, something Tom Brady couldn't do the year before, and he got like 3 years and $100 million bucks, like $33, $35 million per year. Like, is Tua $20 million per year and $75 million more in guaranteed money better than Baker Mayfield? I would say no. Like, I don't think he is. Given his injury history, I don't get Tua getting Jared Goff money. I don't think Goff is insanely more talented, but we've seen him win big games. We've seen him play in a Super Bowl, an NFC Championship game with 2 different franchises. Like, I think there's a big difference here. And I'll get to I think the biggest reason why I wouldn't pay it, and I think we have strong evidence, and it's something that's not going to change in the near future in just a moment. But hey, today's goal, 50 plus likes. Small channel, only got over 300 subscribers. Sub if you haven't already. But if you enjoy the NFL, college football, if you're enjoying today's episode, you know, if you're a diehard Tua fan, maybe you're not. But show us some love. Hit the like button. It helps us out here on YouTube. So I would greatly, greatly appreciate it. Okay, number 2, and perhaps the most significant. He can't play in cold weather. That's not my opinion. That's a fact. Look at the numbers. He's 6-14 in the NFL as a starter when it's sub 70 degrees. Not sub 50, not sub 40, sub 70. Now, obviously, sub 70 can be anywhere from negative temperatures like we saw in the AFC wildcard round last year against the Chiefs to 69 degrees. Nice. But look at the numbers. It's not just the win-loss. 56% of his passes completed. He's a career mid to high 60s guy. Very accurate passer. 6 touchdowns to 8 interceptions. And I don't think his effectiveness in the cold can greatly change, can greatly improve. That's where I'm concerned, because he's not going to grow 2 or 3 inches. He's not going to get a much stronger arm. He's 6 foot with an average NFL arm and not a great athlete. Like early on at Bama, you were like, okay, this guy can move pretty well. He moves okay. Like he's an average mover in today's NFL at the quarterback position. Can he scramble for the occasional first down? Can he move around in the pocket? Yes. He's not even like Mahomes, who's not the fastest guy out there. I think Burrow moves better than him. So like, it's just one of those things where it's like, where do you have to get to get to the Super Bowl in the AFC? Kansas City. It's cold as hell. We saw it last year. Buffalo in your own division. We saw it last year. 3-game lead with 4 weeks to go, and you had a game against the Bills, and you couldn't win it. You couldn't seal the deal. Blew that game against Tennessee. Like, with Tua, I just don't see him improving at this point in his career. He kind of is what he is, which is a good regular season quarterback, especially in September and October. He'll put up numbers. He'll be efficient. Like when you look at top QB ratings at the end of the year, he'll be among the top, but his numbers plummet in the cold. And to win in the postseason, more than likely than not, you're going to have to go win a cold weather game. Their only shot is to get home field advantage. But the problem is late in the year, they typically play 500 ball or less because you start to play cold weather games. So unless they win the East and really win the AFC in the regular season and play through South Beach in the playoffs where it's going to be reasonable conditions, you just got no shot. Can he close the gap against the top quarterbacks in the AFC? Again, his physical traits are not going to improve. He's not going to grow. His arm's not going to get stronger. If anything, over time, his arm will get weaker. I just don't see it. How is he going to go toe-to-toe with Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, even C.J. Stroud? I would already bet the bank on Stroud over Tua. Josh Allen, no shot. Cold weather game against Josh Allen, it's not even a question for me on who I would expect to win that game. So I just look at all of this, and if I'm Miami, I'm playing this season out. Maybe I offer the Daniel Jones deal or the Baker type deal. Like, hey, man, we'll give you a 3 or 4 year deal, $40 million per year. I'll even give you 100 guaranteed because, listen, he's got them in the playoff mix. They're at least going to be competitive with him, but you're not winning a Super Bowl. And so if you're the Miami Dolphins, do you want to be a slightly above average football team, or do you want to chase more? Make him prove it to you. Look, I will come back on this show after the season. If this guy goes to the playoff, A, wins the division, B, goes to the playoffs and wins at least one game against a notable quarterback, I'll say, hey, man, he's starting to turn a corner in that regard. And I don't think he's a bad starter. He's a top 15 quarterback in the NFL. But do you pay the 13th best quarterback top 5 QB money, especially with the guarantees, and tie yourself down to him? Like, Tua needs big-time pieces around him. Once you pay him, it becomes very difficult to do that. I don't think we should have a standard in the NFL where you pay B-level quarterbacks A-plus QB money. I just don't think it makes sense. And you're going to see over time where teams are going to do this, and you're going to be stuck in the middle. And because, look, Trevor Lawrence, you can say what you want. Right now, he's a B-level quarterback. He's got the traits to be an A-level quarterback, though. He's 6'4". He's got a rocket arm. He's a better athlete than Tua. Tua's not growing. He's not getting faster. The arm strength isn't going to improve. So what's going to change? Is it impossible to envision a scenario where if the ball bounces their way, they could go to the divisional round at least, or maybe the AFC title game? It's possible. But is it likely if other top contenders are healthy? If Miami has to go on the road? Not only is it not likely, I would say it's very unlikely. So that's just where I'm at with this whole thing, man. It's not personal. It's just, look, I don't think these teams should just be like, well, we have no choice. We got to pay Tua. You have a choice. He's under contract. Play this year out. Is he going to hold out and skip games? Well, you haven't won a playoff game with him. So I would make a B-level offer, a Derek Carr, Baker Mayfield type of contract offer, maybe Daniel Jones. And by the way, people in the comments might say, Daniel Jones, he's way better. Yeah, he is. The Giants regret that deal. Like, they overpaid. They paid a C-level quarterback B-level money. You can't do it. And the Giants are in trouble because of it. So I would not pay Tua. I got to see a lot more to do so. I don't care about him throwing for 400 yards in a September game. We know he can play in warm weather. Can he win a high-pressure game in not perfect conditions? I've yet to see it. All right, subscribe to the channel. Like we said, if you enjoyed today's show, more NFL and college football coverage to come, including our first college football show, some CFP, College Football Playoff Dark Horses. Going to dive into 5 different teams, so be on the lookout for that. Thanks for all the support you've shown already. I'm Harrison Graham. We'll see you next time.